Very good morning, students. I welcome you all to the first learning session of our bookkeeping and accountancy for 12th standard. As told you in the last video, we will be starting with the first chapter of our accountancy, that is bills of exchange. This question will have 10 marks practical problem and 2 marks objectives in your board examination. This is a totally journal entry based question. You are going to frame journal entries depending upon the questions that are given to you, depending upon the transactions that are given to you in the question. Okay, now we begin with the introduction of bills of exchange. As you all know, there are various types of transactions which are conducted into the business life. You are very well aware of the meaning of the word transaction. Transaction is exchange of goods or services for money or money's worth. Now, whenever this exchange takes place, it may be exchange of goods or it may be exchange of services. It is for money and it is between two or more persons. So whenever any transaction takes place, it will be either of one of the nature. It will be either cash transaction or it will be a credit transactions. Now, cash transaction means where the payment is made immediately at the point of sale. The seller will receive the amount immediately. He will receive the value or the price of goods that he has sold immediately at the point of sale. And the debtor will receive the goods and he will give the money. That is called as the cash transaction. Whereas in case of credit transaction, the transaction in which the payment or the value of goods or services is received by the seller at a future date. The buyer makes the payment of the goods, value of goods or services at a later date. That is called as a credit transaction. Now, credit transaction plays a very important role in the business life for attracting number of customers, for sustaining in the competitive environment of the business. The business enterprises gives various credit facilities to its customers. Increasing the credit base increases the customers. Along with that, it also increases the risk of loss. Why? Because if your number of debtors increase, if your number of customers who have taken the goods on credit increases, there is a risk of loss due to bad debts. Because there may be customers, there may be the buyers who may not pay the value of goods or services. So with the increase in the number of credit transaction, there increases the risk of bad debts also. So in order to minimize this risk, in order to reduce the risk of bad debts, what does a seller do? He takes a written promise. He takes an undertaking. He takes a promise from the buyer that the buyer will pay the amount on a particular date at a particular time. This written promise is called as a bill of exchange. The written promise taken from the debtor by the creditor is defined in the Negotiable Instrument Act as an instrument in writing containing an unconditional order signed by the maker directing a certain person to pay certain sum of money only to or to the order of or to the bearer of the document. Now, I have underlined some of the words in this definition. These words indicates the features of bills of exchange. Any document which has to be called as a bill of exchange needs to have the following features. The first feature is writing. That means when a debtor gives a written promise, it is called as a bill of exchange. A promise in oral cannot be considered as a bill of exchange. It always has to be in a written form. Second feature that the instrument must contain is it must have an unconditional order. The word here, order, is very much important. It indicates that the creditor has to order the debtor to make the payment. And this payment is made without any condition. There is no condition placed for the payment. On a particular date, the debtor has to make the payment irrespective of the situation. So that it must contain an unconditional order. Third is it must be signed by the maker. Signature of the person preparing the bill, that is the creditor, is very much essential. Without the signature of the creditor, the instrument will not be considered as a bill of exchange. Next feature is directing a certain person. So whenever a certain person is pointed out or indicated in the bill, it is called as a bill of exchange. Bill of exchange will speak about the debtor. It will point towards the debtor and it will be written in the name of the debtor. To pay certain sum of money. The bill will always include the information regarding the amount which is to be paid by the debtor to the creditor, or to the order of or to the bearer of the instrument. The debtor has to make the payment to whom, that is mentioned in the bill. So it is either the payee, it is either the bearer of those who is holding the bill, or to the creditor himself. So when all these features are included in a promissory note, it is called as a bill of exchange. Whenever a bill is prepared, it is ready with the creditor, then the relationship between the creditor and the debtor changes. Now the creditor comes to be known as drawer and the debtor is known as the drawee. Okay, so from this we come to know that there are three parties to the bills of exchange. The first party to the bill of exchange is the drawer. He is the maker of the bill. Drawer is the maker of the bill. He is the person who draws the bill, who prepares the bill. And always a creditor in the transaction, the person who is the creditor in the transaction will prepare the bill. Next is drawee. Drawee is a person on whom the bill is drawn. It is the person who is indicated, who is pointed out in the transaction. किसकी तरफ बताया है, किसको बताया गया है. So that person is called as the drawee. So debtor is the drawee in the transaction. Then we have a payee. Now payee is a third person. He is the third party who is appointed by the drawer to collect the payment from the drawee. That means if the drawee or the drawer cannot approach each other for receiving or giving the payment, then in that case a link or a third person will be appointed by the drawer. That third party is called as the payee. Third party will collect the amount from the drawee and he will transfer that amount to the drawer. He will act as a link between the drawee and the drawer. So these are the three parties to the transaction or the bills of exchange. Now sometimes the drawer himself can become the payee. It is not necessary that a payee should always be appointed. If the drawer can approach the drawee to collect the payment, then the drawer himself becomes the payee. So a payee can be a third party or he can be the drawer himself. Okay, so these are the three parties to the bills of exchange. So in this chapter, in the introduction of bills of exchange, we have seen the definition of bill. We have seen the features which we have derived from the definition and parties to the bills of exchange. Hereafter, we will be studying the different terms that are used in the bill and the usage of these terms and their importance in the context of the bill of exchange. So till then, keep watching the videos, go through the theory of the chapter. Thank you, student. Meet you again.